That's kind of a trick question, only because when you say that big of a smash, I don't think anybody could have predicted the impact that the song was going to have. Did we know we had a big record? We definitely knew we had a big record. We knew it was the first single. We knew it was a hot single. To know that it would sell millions of records and be around for 15 years still, and be worldwide number ones in a lot of different countries and stuff like that. No, I don't think any of us could have predicted that.
Right, because I remember it was a year or two ago. It was on VH1. I Love the '90s Part 2 for the year '95. They were talking.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been in not only on different soundtracks. It's been in different movies. It was in 8 Mile. Wow, Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. I mean, the song has been around, for a minute now, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful and blessed.
It's definitely took a life of its own. And I was saying that, by you being a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, whenever that joint would come on, I was thinking whenever a Kappa's in the club, they'll probably start hopping and doing the canes.
Oh yeah, we got to have our own joint. It would be like between that and Big Daddy Kane's Ain't No Half Step, and I know that those joints, brothers definitely represent on.
And of course, we all know the Q's do their thing to Atomic Dog and
everybody got to have something. So
they definitely.
I'm glad I was able to contribute to to our, not only to the bond, but to to the music world, to have a song that's still around to this day. Even if you in the time machine and you throw that joint on, I know that people sitting in their cars or in the club or wherever they are, and they are taken back to that time period, which is something that I think music allows us to do. I think that, when you can hear a song and be like, oh, I remember that song. I was going through a bad breakup at that time. Or I remember that song because I was, partying real hard at that time, and I think that's what This Is How We Do It does for a lot of people. Okay. It brings back a good memory about a good time.
All right. And after This Is How We Do It, the second single, was it Something for the Honeys?
That's correct. Something for the Honeys.
And for the video, I had heard that there was like a little altercation during the video shoot, like somebody got to fighting and there was some type of controversy, something going on. Explain that.
Yeah, it was pretty huge for the... I think it's like it's documented on one of those beef tapes or something like that. It just so happens that Hype William was shooting my second video for Something for the Honeys. We're at this very, very wealthy golf course somewhere out in the West Coast in Los Angeles. And, me being an R&B singer, I was new. I was like one of the first R&B singers on the Def Jam label. And so, I had label mates that were, basically rappers, hood rappers, gangster rappers. So when it came time to shoot my video, I had, me, an R&B singer. I invited a couple of people out, like, groups like Brownstone and stuff like that at the time, but most of the people that came out were like Coolio, Method Man, Redman, Dog Pound, Snoop. You know what I'm saying? It was like, the who's who of, gangster rap and of music out on the West Coast. And it so happened that we were, driving around in these baller golf carts, Mercedes-Benz golf carts and little Bentley golf carts, and, it was real fly. And it just so happens that one of the rap groups had beef with the Dog Pound. I think South Central Cartel had a song I called Dog Pound Killer or something like that. I can't remember how it went, but long story short, one of the guys from that particular group took a swing and hit Nate Dogg. And Nate Dogg grabbed a golf club and broke the golf club over this guy's head. And then everybody went to the trunk of their cars to go get their guns and everything. And basically, we turned a golf course into 4th Ave and Slauson. It was just horrible. People was running to their cars. I mean, it was a mess. People was fighting, breaking bottles on the ground. It was a big, big mess. And so the next day, we basically had to go to another golf course to finish the shoot. Cost me more money, more time. It was a sad situation.
Yeah, but definitely the video was definitely good and everything. Now, after the This Is How We Do It record, you was in the Nutty Professor movie, the first one, in the scene before Dave Chappelle came up to do his stand-up routine doing Something for the Honeys. Now, this was around the time when you was working on, I believe, the More album and I Like was dropping, right?
That is correct. You dead on. We are in the time machine because you got it locked on.
All right, so tell me about that period.
Basically was working immediately on my second album, the More album, and at that time, as you said, we were I got a chance to work with Eddie Murphy, and it was funny when I actually met him on the set. I had never met him before, and when I met him at Sherman Klump. He had his makeup on. I didn't even know it was him. I'm sitting down talking to this guy, and he says, "Oh, you Montell Jordan, huh? You're gonna be in sing the song of the song, And I'm like, yeah, trying to figure out who this dude is. Before I realized it was actually Eddie Murphy. It was real crazy. But during that time, I was able to meet a new producer by the name of James Jones, who was the executive producer of that album, and he really wanted to take me more from a rap singer style of music and make me more of an R&B artist on the second album. And so that's why the second album started gearing more towards the direction of R&B.
And that was definitely a hot album, and I Like was another big hit off of that album and the Nutty Professor soundtrack. Now, during that time, you were also working with other artists. I believe you worked with 98 Degrees on their debut album.
Absolutely. I was able to work with 98 Degrees. I think we did 2 songs on their first album, and actually I was funny that they were discovered out on the road. I was out on tour with Boyz II Men, TLC, and Mary J. Blige, and we were out at a concert performing when they came up and sang for me, and it just so happened that my road manager eventually ended up becoming their manager through the relationship of us meeting out on the road.
And that's kind of ironic because I just recently interviewed Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees, and he gave me that whole story.
Okay, good. So I mean, I'm not lying. That's good.
Oh, no.
Hopefully he said the same thing, because that's the way I remember the story.
Now, also on the More album, you had the track Fallen, but the remix, which samples the joint MC8 Straight Up Menace, was just straight up crazy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And I got to work with one of the Bone Thugs on that record as well, with Flesh and Bone, who was a very, very good friend of mine at the time. So it was the start of a lot of big things. In the first album, This Is How We Do It, I got a chance to work with Coolio, and on a remix for Something for the Honeys, I worked with Redman, and got an opportunity to work with Bone on that record. So it was like also the start of me getting the opportunity to work with Slick Rick on the song I Like. So I was kind of building a rapport that Montell Jordan can do up-tempo records, and I work very well with hip-hop artists.
And coming off the More album, I believe the next album was Let's Ride. Now, how did you hook up with Master P and Silk the Shocker for the Let's Ride joint?
Wow, Let's Ride. I had, it's funny, I was working with a producer as we were working on the album named Teddy Bishop. Teddy Bishop did, I think, 2 songs on the Let's Ride album, and when he was playing tracks for us in the studio, if you listen real closely to the Let's Ride song, there's a voice in the song that's saying, that's right, that's right, that's right. While the, boom, 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 that's right, that's right. He was saying that's right, but I thought it was saying let's ride, and so that's why I started writing the song right there on the spot. I called the song Let's Ride. And so when I was writing the chorus of the song, and I said, I don't doubt it, your love is bout it, at the time, Master P had coined the phrase, bout it, And so I was like, well, I don't want to be a biter like I'm taking his line. I was like, if I'm going to do the song, I want him to be on the song. So I basically kind of hunted him down and found out that he was shooting video in Los Angeles. So I had my big black Suburban. I rolled up to the video shoot, and I went on to the set of the film that he was shooting, and I said, I'm looking for Percy Miller, I'm looking for Master P, and he was taking a break, and I said, hey man, I was like, I'm Montell Jordan, and he's like, oh, you with Def Jam, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I've heard your stuff or whatever, you doing your thing out there. I was like, well look, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I was basically like, I got a song I want you to hear. In the chorus I said, your love is bout it. I know that you said bout it, and so for me, I figured if I can't get you to work with me on this song, then I won't do the song, simply because that's how I feel strongly about this record. So he went and he sat with me in the passenger side of my black Suburban in the parking lot. I cranked it up. I started playing the song Let's Ride on it, and he was sitting in the passenger side, and naturally the started coming, and he was nodding and everything, and then that was it. He was like, let's go ahead and let's get it done. And then it just so happens, he's a savvy businessman, so I didn't know at the time that he was going to take part of his rap and put Silk the Shocker on it, because that was one of his next rappers that he was blowing up. So I kind of got a 2-for-1 out of the deal, thinking I was going to get Master P, and I ended up with Master P and Silk.